what was the pause for? Well, we're getting some screenshots and some pictures of the front row for the 14th annual Topless 200, and Rocket Rob Warren was close, but his track record was broken by two drivers. Steady Steve Callahan went out and did it first with a 16:122. And the guy that's going to sit on the pole, well, it sounds a little weird to interview myself, but a little beside myself. Can't believe it actually happened. So let's talk to Steady Steve Callahan. Steve, you had that track record for just a second. It has been a long season for you, not been able to hit all of the shows. And then you come out here, you practice fast, and when it counted the most, you went out and broke Rob Warren's 1-year-old track record. Didn't think it would be done, and you were under it substantially with a 16:122. You're going to start on the front row for the first time ever in your long Supers career with over 550 starts. Steve, what does this mean to you tonight to be sitting on the front row for tomorrow night's Topless 200?
I tell you, thanks, Pop. It's huge. Yeah, I hit those good laps in practice, and I'm like, hey, we might have something here. And then, it all came together tonight. Huge thanks to Keith, my crew chief. Once again, man, he pulled one out of the bag. He gave me a good piece here, and big congrats to you too. You broke my heart a little bit, but. It's all right. I'm tickled to death. I never thought my hands, eyes, and feet can't go any faster. So I'm happy. But it's gonna be a long race tomorrow, and still got a little work to do on the car for tomorrow. But we're gonna try to keep it up here.
Well, Steve, it's always important to get some clean air, but this race is so unique in that it takes so much strategy, and you've been able to run a couple of 200 lap sims. I know you've been running shorter sims to try to figure out what it's going to take to keep tires, especially the right front on the car, for 200 laps tomorrow. Is it going to be easier to be up front and set the pace, or is it easier to follow and work your own pace?
I like to be up front so I can set the pace. Because if you're in the back, you're kind of racing with the other guys, and you're trying to save at the same time. It just makes it twice as hard. So, a clean air for me is that's the way to go. And we made a few changes, run a little bit more practice here, and see if they work. And then if not, we got a pretty good setup from last year. We can fall back on, and we'll see what happens.
Well, Steve, picking up 45 laps, CPR Motorsports. Tell the fans what it's all about to be a Supers member and be a part of this Supermodified Sim sanction that's been around for 14 years, almost 15 years.
It's a cool deal. You guys at Supers, you work so hard, to put on good shows every night and make it fun for all of us, and we're a big family, and it's just awesome. We get a chance to play race car driver a few nights a week, and at the same time give back to the real drivers, if they're injured or something happens at the shop, just to give back to the sport that we all love so much. And for me, first race I ever saw was a super modified race, and I was hooked, and to be able to hang out with you guys and kind of live a dream a little bit, even if it is just on the computer, it's a good time. And anybody that wants to join, man, this is a place to join. In my opinion, we're the best racing league out there. We're one big family. It's not about the points, it's not about the wins. It's about giving back in real life, and just thank all you guys for everything you do.
Steady Steve Callahan going to start from his best starting position ever for the Topless 200. Been in just about every single one of these. He's going away from outside of row 1 tomorrow night. Well, the heat races have been scratched due to car count. So the way things will line up tomorrow night, it'll be the 25 Bob Gangler on the pole. with the 55 of Steady Steve Callahan outside row 1. 38 of Kyle Clark will start inside row 2, and that's not too bad for him. Let's see what Kyle has to say about his starting position for tomorrow evening's race. Kyle, a good run for you, third quick out there with a 16:176, just to tick off the old track record. How do you feel about your chances tomorrow night, starting inside, actually inside of row 3 after the guaranteed starters take their positions?
Oh, who knows? It's such a tricky race to figure out strategy-wise. I'm not good at the long races. Never have been, never will be. I don't know. It'll be interesting. See who kind of drops back and see what kind of strategy plays out.
Well, Kyle, a rough night for you last night. Can you tell us exactly what happened? Didn't really have a chance to talk to you from your standpoint. That SUPRS Nationals race looked like you had a good one going. Are you going to be able to turn it around tomorrow night at the Topless? Because last night was a disappointment, I know.
Yeah, still not over that one. Apples to oranges, though. That was a sprint with a wing, and this is a long race with no wing. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Kyle Clark, he'll be going away from inside of row number 3 tomorrow night when we take the green flag for the Topless 200, and you could hear the disappointment in his voice after last night's race. Let's talk to a guaranteed starter who's going to be starting outside of row number 2. Guaranteed starter by virtue of finishing second place in the Whistler Pete Trinka Memorial. Keith, put one on you, pal. Keith, it looked like you had some struggles out there in your time trial run. What exactly happened on the second lap in turn number 2?
Oh, I just got way too aggressive with it. Congrats to my teammate. Congrats to you, Bobby, sitting on the front row. That's pretty awesome. Me and Steve had a pretty decent qualifying setup, but you really had to tighten those belts and go for it, and that's what I did. As a guaranteed starter, it's either put it on the pole or sit in the second row, so I was trying to put it on the pole and got a little too aggressive off it too. And then that was pretty much it. But it's all right. Tomorrow is a totally different animal, and I just can't wait.
Keith, want to say thanks to your wife, Cindy, and Icings on Top for being a sponsor of the Icings on Top Triple Crown. So guys will be shooting for that to win the first leg of the Triple Crown tomorrow night at the Topless 200. Now, you've got some very specific strategies. The longer races definitely in your bag, but you've got a fast guy starting next to you. How do you size up the front row and the drivers that are around you to be able to run your race tomorrow night?
It's the front row is going to be pretty interesting because you and Steve are both pretty good at setting a pretty decent pace. I think everybody going into tomorrow is just, they know what pace they want to run, and we'll just kind of let everything sort out and shake out. It'll be interesting at these first 25 laps, but if I could just run my own race and have some pretty clean air in front of me and not get all, bottled up or anything, I think we'll be all right. But it's definitely going to be a pretty interesting race. I really look for 3 or 4 guys to actually be within a straightaway that last 50 laps.
I think that could very well be the case. Well, good luck to you tomorrow night, Keith Powell, and he'll be going away from outside of row number 2 because of his guaranteed starting spot. The other driver that took his guaranteed starting spot tonight, the driver of the number 35, Rocket Rob Warren. Rob, your track record broken tonight but you were able to take your guaranteed starting spot, and you're going to be going away from inside of row number 2. Is it a big deal to you that you weren't on the front row, and does this change your strategy going into tomorrow night's race?
Well, first off, congratulations, Bob. That was a heck of a lap. 099 track record. And Steve for beating the track record and getting on the front row. I qualify. I tipped the car upside down, changed it all the way from the nose, wing, T-bar, all the way to the track bar with everything in between. And I thought I had a really good setup. Practicing earlier, I had an awesome setup. But that's all behind us now. And I think I'm going to enjoy starting third over starting on the pole last year. I set a pace last year, and it was a little too quick, I think. As the actual classic tends to turn out to be. You get the rabbit for the first 120 to 150 laps, and at the end, the rabbit is worn out. So I think I'm going to be more interested in sitting around in the back. I know Keith, I got a feeling Keith is going to back it up a little bit. And I've seen what a couple of the cars have done, in practices for 200 laps. And I know that 25 is wicked fast at the end of the race, running 16.7s. So I think I'm going to try and follow and save the car and see what it does. I mean, we're not getting beer for running second, and we're not getting lap money for running first. So this might be the chance for me to not be the rabbit. All depends on what that team behind us is going to do. I know Kyle and Derek, they got fast cars too. So I heard what Keith said, 4 guys on the front straightaway. I think it could be up to 6. It should be an interesting chess match. That's exactly what this game is a chess match. Sacrifice a pawn here or there, but save the king till the end.
Rocket Rob Warren, you're defending Topless 200 pole sitter and champion. Go away from inside of row number 2 tomorrow night. He's talking about the guys driving for Disturbed Motorsports, and Derek Backus is one of those drivers. Derek, Rocket Rob saying that he's concerned about the Disturbed guys starting directly behind him. Does he have good cause for that concern with you guys working together? Is it better to have your teammate next to you than in a different row?
Yeah, I'm actually, I feel pretty good about the 200 car. I've done some testing, and I got something that I think will hang around, but, like everybody else said, it's all based on how everything plays out. The smart thing to do is ride around. You have somebody that just wants to run a little quicker. You got to make the decision. How far do you let them go? You let them go too far, and then you're trying to use up your stuff to catch back up to them. Do you let them go a little further and hope for a caution and save your stuff a little, or do you try and keep in touch with them? I think after so many years of this, the guys are learning more and more every year, and I know the guys that are going to hang back a little bit, and I think it's tough for Rob to be behind people. It's just it's just how he is. I don't see him falling behind and following people. It's just not in his blood. Strategy. You just gotta try and have something towards the end, and that's what I've been working on. Is not have to fight a car for 30 laps. Have something you can actually do something with.
Well, Derek, wishing you the best of luck tomorrow night as you start next to your teammate for the Topless 200 here at Oswego Speedway. Well, one guy that we haven't talked to is a guy that's been around for quite a while in Supers competition, and if anybody knows how to run them and knows what it's all about, it's Carl Bonsai Becker. Carl, you had some fast laps in practice Did the track change too much for you in time trials to be able to run those laps?
The car just seems to have to run at least 6 laps or so before it comes in. And that's what I'll do tomorrow night is probably be at the tail end, and just once the tires come in, I'll just try to set some kind of a pace where I will be hopefully close enough to see what's going on, and just take it from there.
Carl is having seen darn near every single one of these topless 200s. What, in your estimation, is it going to take for anybody to win this race? You've been around racing your whole life, have seen the International Classic 200, the Little 500 at Anderson Speedway for sprint cars. You know what it's about. But as you size the field up for tomorrow night and expect a couple more guys to show just for the race, what's it going to take, in your estimation, to pull off the win tomorrow night?
Well, I'm kind of with Derek. What we need to do is put tractor tires on Robbie's car. That might slow him down some, and it's got to be one of. I'm not going to name any names, but I'm going to say there are 4 or 5 guys that can run consistently fast laps and be very smooth. And that's what it's going to take, is just to be someplace where you're not in trouble and hope you don't get somebody around you that tries to win the race right away. They just be kind of patient and fast. If you can do that at the same time, that's what the winner's going to do.
Carl Bonsai Becker knows how to get it done. He knows what it's going to take to get it done. He's been around this sanction for a long time, and tomorrow night you can watch Carl and all the drivers battle for 200 laps, no pit stops, ideally no pit stops. They've got to make their tires last. They've got to make their brakes last. They've got to keep the nose clean and the rear tail section on the car to be able to have a shot at leg number 1 of the SUPRS Icings on Top Triple Crown tomorrow night. So for everybody here tonight, I just, from a standpoint, I race. It's weird, but I want to say thanks to everybody for coming in tonight. Thank you to my sponsors, RW Woodworking and B&G Racing Foes. Thanks to my family, especially Ma and Pa, and the kids and D-Net for putting up with me racing this thing for all the year. This is a dream come true to set on the pole for this race. This is something. Never thought it would happen. There's so many doggone good guys out there. Just appreciate it. And I can't tell you enough how much fun it is to be around all of them. And hopefully if you're listening to the broadcast or watching the broadcast, you'll want to be a part of this as well, racing the ultimate short track race car, whether you're a super modified fan or a sim racer that wants to know more about these exotic short track pavement oval race cars. We'd love to have you. We'd love to teach you more about them. And would enjoy having you race the R Factor NASCAR Heat platforms as we get ready to go into our 15th anniversary in October. So go to supers.net, click the About tab, learn more about us, and then click the Join Us tab, and you can race your own Super Modified online. Don't forget, tomorrow night, the SUPRS Topless 200 coming at you at 8 p.m. The broadcast starts at 8 as opposed to our regular starting time of 9. We'd love to have you all here, whether you watch on supers.net, on Supers Live, or you're directly on our Twitch channel. It will be fantastic to have you, and enjoy the strategies that will play out and the excitement of 200-lap short-track pavement race at the home of the Super Modifieds, Oswego Speedway. And don't forget, Oswego Speedway coming up in just a couple of weeks, the race of all races for Super Modifieds, the Indianapolis 500 for this particular race car, the International Classic 200 coming up at Oswego Speedway. And if you're in the area, A lot of our members will be there, and we can tell you more about it. You'll just look for the Supers hats and the Supers shirts. Tomorrow night, the 2018 season finale for the Non-Wing Goldcrest Championship Season Leg 1 of the Icings on Top Triple Crown. It's the 14th Annual Topless 200. The field is set, and the drivers are ready to go for the penultimate round of this 2018 non-wing season. So until tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, thanks to BreezeGraphics.com and Kevin Timmons, our video producer. Thanks to Rocket Rob Warren and First to Finish Race Servers for hosting all of our in-house gaming servers and TeamSpeak servers and broadcast servers. Thanks to all of the members for being here to support Supermodified Sim Racing for the right reason. Never give up. Remember, all of our proceeds go to help injured Supermodified drivers and their families. Until tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, keep it wing side up and wheels to the ground.
Someone you love, and if you're going through it, I say do it with someone you love. I've been around a long time, in and out of love, but if you're gonna do it, I say do it with someone you love.